Hello. Let me see if this is working. Oh, hey, Kinda Casual's already in the chat. Extra, yeah, you're a little early. Hang on. I'm checking see my. Hello. Let me see if. Okay, yeah, it looks like my sound's working. Good to see you, Kinda Casual. Yeah, so because you came in and started watching so often, I decided to make this little bookend of a stream, which, as the title says, some nerd talks about his channel. So this is just to talk about my plans for the future because, like I mentioned in the past, the reason I started streaming at all was to perform Undertale and Deltarune, to say all the lines out loud, to embody the characters, and to have some fun. And it really was because I don't know if I told you the whole story, kind of casual, because you kind of came in chapter four. I am pet sitting for one of my relatives, so I'm staying at that relative's apartment for the month. I came in at basically the start of August, and now it's near the end of August, and late tomorrow night, pretty much Thursday morning, my relative's coming back. So I won't be staying at this apartment anymore, which means I won't have a quiet space to stream anymore. I'll have to go back with my nuclear family in a small apartment, and it'll be much harder to have a quiet space to myself and much harder to set up a streaming equipment, and it'd just be like way too much work. So that's a long way of saying I'm probably not going to be streaming for a while after today, which is why I felt I could have like this little goodbye stream. But I'm not going to say I'm never going to stream again because streaming ended up being really fun. It kind of casual. Oh, yeah, it's sort of a sad thing, but I'm not going to say I won't be streaming ever because it was a lot of fun and I really liked it. Uh, of course, you sort of asked in previous streams what would I do after Deltarune, and that's a good question. I never thought I'd be a gaming streamer, just because one, I don't play a lot of games on my laptop. Like my laptop's pretty good, but it's not a gaming laptop, so I can't do huge games on it anyway. But the second is I'm just one person, and I've mentioned before, one person playing video games is a form of kind of casual. All right, it was fun watching you, man. Well, I'm not saying goodbye just yet. I'm just gonna explain. Yeah, hopefully you stream soon. Yeah, so I want to stream again in some way because it was really fun, and at first I just did it because I was doing it for myself, which is always the best reason to start doing things. You do it for yourself. But now that I've got like at least a few people who like my streams and like hearing my voice for some reason, thank you. Well, now it's like, oh well, why not do more? Like I said, I don't know if it'll be video games because I don't have too many games I'm playing on my computer. I'm not the most entertaining to listen to when I play games. I mean, like I'm glad you like listening to me, but you probably heard during my streams, like when there's a difficult moment, I'll just lock in. And the times I was able to talk was because I was already familiar with the game and I could talk over it. Kind of casual, knowing me, I'd probably forget to check on you. Well, appreciate the honesty, at least. Well, I don't know. You did subscribe, so whenever you check your subscription tab, you'll. If I ever made another video, you probably see me pop up. Although wait, that doesn't really happen for live streams, does it? Anyway, um, so yeah, it wouldn't be video games. I remember in a previous stream, kind of casual, you said like, oh, well, what about you like reading stories? Maybe you could do stuff like that. I think if I ever did come back, it might be something like reading aloud stories or something pertaining to my art, because I draw, I like to write. It would be more videos pertaining to that side of my life instead of streaming. I mean, whenever Deltarune Chapter 5 comes out, I want to stream that, but even then I need to have the setup. So it's like I need to have another perfect combination of space and time to do it and the content. So like whenever Toby Fox puts out that game, and if I get another space again, I'd want to do that. Kind of casual, yeah, but I have multiple accounts. I usually don't go on this one. All right. Um I guess everyone's got different ways of managing YouTube. But yeah, short answer is even if I did have the space and time to myself, I'd be curious about what sort of games to continue playing. So it would be more for my art or be reading aloud stories. Right now, if I had the space and time and it was like, what would you do with streaming? I would limit my streams to maybe once a week instead of once a day. The reason I was doing it every day all this month was because I didn't have enough time and I wanted to do all of Undertale and Deltarune. So if I were to start streaming again, I would go to like once a week, twice a week. I was thinking maybe I could find like public domain stories and stream myself reading them, or record myself reading them. Uh, right away, if you tell me like what public domain thing would you want to read aloud, I'd go to Edgar Allan Poe. I love Poe. Kind of casual. You should stream what is fun for you. Thanks, kind of casual. That's great. That's yeah. Because I'm not trying to make the streaming like a lifestyle. I'm not trying to make it my career. So I would go to things that are fun for me. If anyone's interested in hearing me read The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe, it's like, you're not interested? Too bad. Probably what I'm going to do. Yeah. That is what I would lean to. Actually, it wouldn't be on this YouTube account, but something else I was thinking about doing in terms of streaming is I have a YouTube account for my webcomic that I don't put a lot of stuff on. It's usually only if I have things that are video. And I was thinking, well, if I were to stream more, maybe I'd do streams where I kind of go post by post, comic by comic I've done and sort of give like behind the scenes. Like, hey, this is the director's cut of this comic. Like, what inspired it? What choices I made? And sort of seeing the growth of that. Because I started that webcomic like 5 years ago. Kind of casual. Whatever you do, I'd be happy to tag along. That is really nice. If you're on Tumblr, you could let me know and I could tell you what my webcomic is at least, so you could see that side of my art. But if you don't, I'm not going to make you go on Tumblr. That is the thing. Even though I sort of dip my toes more into the water of content creation with these streams, I'm not the biggest social media person. I'm not the biggest internet. I mean, I am a big internet person, but not like big internet person. Like, I have a webcomic. It's mainly on Tumblr. I'm on social media. It's mainly Tumblr. If somebody suggests that I make a TikTok, I go like, yeah. Like, no disrespect to people who use TikTok, but whenever I see people using TikTok, like the way it works, I kind of get tired. And I'm like, I don't think I could do that. I'm gonna stick to Tumblr. Kind of casual. I don't have Tumblr, but I could get it if you want. It's up to you. I'm not gonna push you to get a Tumblr. I mean, you could always get it and try it, and then if you don't like it, you can stop. That's totally fine. If you do get a Tumblr, and again, you don't have to, but if you do get a Tumblr, my webcomic is softboy-pillowman. Like, that's the Tumblr handle. Softboy-pillowman. In browser, it would be .tumblr.com. Softboy-pillowman.tumblr.com. Not a perfect way to store a webcomic, but, like, it has all my posts in that regard, and if you click on archive, then you could like go back all the way to the beginning and just see the depths of that. It'll give you an idea of my nerdy, artsy side, and I don't know, maybe make you go, all right, I've seen enough of this. But anyway, like the reason I'm bringing that up is like that was my main artistic outlet before the streaming. So that's sort of what I'm retreating back to, making weekly art if I have the time, making weekly comics. Kind of casual. I made an account. Oh, wow, that's fast. Yeah, so you can find Softboy-Pillowman and check it out and see if you think it's cool. And if you don't, that's fine. Seltzer. But I can't seem to find you. Like, if you go to the search place, like the search bar, and Softboy-Pillowman. When I say dash, I mean the symbol dash, not the word dash. And like Softboy, one word, dash symbol, Pillowman, one word. And blogs should pop up. Softboy-Pillowman. There's the little guy in the icon. So yeah, I mean, oh yeah, there you go. Wait, I found you. Yeah. I don't know what much else to say because I think I've covered all I needed to. I mean, I guess at this point in the stream, there's somebody else I thought would appear. Somebody else who was commenting on like my other videos, and I said, "Oh, well, I'm streaming today." So I guess I'll wait like maybe 10 more minutes for that person to show up. While we're doing that, I guess maybe I can throw out some questions to you, kind of casual in the chat. Um, you came in chapter 4, so you've seen like about 5 streams. Kind of casual. I don't really know what to say to you, frowny face. That's worded in a very particular way. No. I mean, I was about to say like I was gonna ask you for feedback. Like you listen to the streams, and I wanted to ask, as someone who is streaming mainly to perform, like not to be like a pro gamer, and not to do like a speed run, but just to act the game, say the lines. Did you find that entertaining? Did you find that nice to watch? Was there anything that would have made the videos better, or if you, or as you say, you don't know anything to say, like no feedback? That's fine, because this is a very unique instance where people can always comment on stuff, but this is like one of the few times I can directly. No, it's because this is your last stream and I really don't have anything on the top of my mind. All right, that's fine. Well, last stream for now. Like, definitely don't hold your breath about it, but this is a thing. Like, maybe one day I'll come back. Yes, I'll come back. And until then, there must be no regrets, no tears, no anxieties. Just go forward in all your beliefs, and I shall. God damn it! I messed up that quote, and I call myself a classic Doctor Who fan. I liked your streams because you took your time and your voices for the characters were great. Oh, thanks, kind of casual. That means a lot. That really does. I was always that insufferable kid in class who loved reading out loud. Like the teacher would go, "Okay, we're gonna read the story person by person," and I would get called, and I put my all into it. And then another person would read, and they'd read very flat because they're probably not into it. They don't want to be in school that day, and I'd be like, "No, read it better. No, put some oomph into it. Sound like the character." So yeah, my streams were me indulging in that side of myself. Like I'm gonna read these the best there can be. I'm gonna be the best there is. Well, yeah. So I'm not gonna try and squeeze more out of you if that's all the feedback you have. And like, it is valuable feedback. It sort of validates the whole reason why I did it. Because that's why I did it. Put a lot of work into the characters, make it sound good. I guess in a way, this is also just like a recording of my effort and my enthusiasm for doing stuff like this. Like I wouldn't say for a lot of characters, lol, yeah. I wouldn't say for a lot of characters that I think my voice is the voice. Like, I do a voice and it's like, oh, this is the best way someone could voice a character. Like, now there are people who could do a better voice for Gerson. There's people who could do a better voice for, I don't know, Noelle, Toriel. But there are a couple characters who, like, I think Ralsei in particular, like, I'm not saying I think I'm the perfect Ralsei voice, but, like, I like my Ralsei. And if anyone were to come to me and say, "Hey, I heard your stream, the Ralsei voice in your stream, and it sounds really good. Would you like to be in a project?" That'd be like the best case scenario for me doing these streams. These messages are delayed, but I love checking your streams every day. Oh, thanks, kind of casual. Yeah, I know there's like a 1 minute lag, and some people say there's a way to fix it. I don't know how to fix it, and I'm not gonna try and mess anything up. Uh, that does mean a lot, checking my streams. Yeah, there are, the videos are out there. You could always watch them and listen to what I do. You came in chapter 4. You could go back and hear what my Tenna is like. You could hear what my chapter 3 voices, chapter 2 voices were like. Spamton was a fun one. I don't think I'm the best Spamton, but just doing Spamton's voice was so fun. I will say I might revamp the channel. Like, I might make my more private videos, because like I don't have anything too private on my channel, but like I might make my non-related videos private, unlisted, and I might change my channel name, because right now it's Cat with a Scarf. I might change it to Some Nerd or Some Nerd Plays or Some Nerd Talks, a variant of that, and actually give myself a damn profile picture, so that in the future, if I do more, even though I'm not planning on doing more, I'll be ready. and I could actually have, if not a brand, then a presence that makes sense. So yeah, I've been waiting around for this extra person to come in, but they don't seem to come in. So yeah, let's see, bullet points. I'm not going to be doing it for the near future. May come back one day, but I don't know when I will. Uh, if I come back and Deltarune isn't out, it'll be more artsy stuff, and yada yada yada. I can't really think of much else to say. I'm just there's this other person, I swear, on some of my videos that said like, oh, I'll check out your last stream, and they're not here. Dude, I don't know if you know this, but you genuinely made my day for the past couple days. Your streams were great, and I love talking to you. I can't wait for you to stream more. Wonder what the streams will be. Kind of casual. You're being so nice. Thank you for this. This really means a lot. I really needed something like this. Like, I won't say no one appeared in the streams before you. No one really appeared for the Undertale streams. There were those bot accounts that there were a couple accounts I thought were bots that appeared in the Undertale streams, and then like you, some people randomly found my channel. There was only one person other than you. Okay, well actually there was a friend of mine that managed to make one of my streams. Other than that person and you, there was one other person that semi-regularly attended, and that was really cool. It's almost sad that more people came in only during like chapter 2, 3, and 4, because that was near the end of it all. And I mean it. Thanks, kind of casual. Yeah. If I ever do more, I do hope you manage to come across it, manage to check them out. I don't know what else. I don't know what else to talk about. I won't say this in the sense that like I will do them. If I were to continue gaming streaming, like if I did have the space to myself and I could play more video games, what were games that you'd hope I'd play? Like throwing my interests to the wind, not caring about what I'm actually interested in. What are games that would make you go like, oh, I wish that person would play these games. I want to see them play this. Because while I like video games, I do like playing games. I'm not too much of a gamer. Like, what games do I even have on my laptop? I'll ask you this: how was your day? Thanks, kind of casual. My day was nice. I had a long ass walk across the city today, which was a bit tiring, but nice to get up and about. Had a slice of pizza, had some ice cream, did some remote work from my job. Kind of a boring answer, but pleasant enough day. Drew this art for the stream. Literally, the reason I started at 9:15 instead of 9 was because I was putting the finishing touches on this Some Nerd Talks About His Channel thumbnail. We should play games you like. Forcing someone to play a game they like isn't great. I mean, that's true, yeah. But yeah, I don't have too many games on my laptop, which is where I played Undertale and Deltarune. That's the thing. I don't know how to set up streaming outside of a laptop. Some people can hook up streaming equipment to their TV. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to stream if it was on my if it was on my Switch. So Switch games would be right out. I have Baldur's Gate 3 on my computer, but what is that dog doing? Hang on, 1 minute. I'm gonna check on the dog I'm watching. I think he's burrowing somewhere. Poochie, what are you doing? Okay, everything's fine. Kind of casual. Well, me and my brother went to the river and we fished. Oh, good. I was about to ask you how your day was. Me and my brother went to the river and we fished. Didn't catch anything, but this guy that was using an inflatable raft gave us some free bait. He was awesome. He catch a fish right in front of us. That sounds like a great day. It's cool that you're in a place where you can easily fish. I'm in a city, so we don't have much fishing near us. Although I did fish with my cousin this summer. I showed my cousin Deltarune during that vacation. If you go back to my Deltarune Chapter 1 stream, you can actually see the name of the file that I made when I was showing him and my other cousin, Deltarune. So that's cool. Is anyone else watching, by the way? I see the people meter went up by a couple. So there's more than you here. I'm still wondering about that person who left comments on my videos, if they are present. Because I feel disappointed ending the stream with them missing it. But I really don't have much else. I mean, another reason why, even if I still had the space, I'd be slowing down the streams, is also because summer is ending, life is starting. I might be in a theater production in my local theater group, and one of my jobs is with a college, so when the semester starts, I'll be working more, limited time. But anyway, I think for anyone who came in late, I think I hit all the bullet points of this. You know, this is sort of my goodbye for now. Not goodbye forever, but definitely for now. And if I return, it'll be something completely different. So if you came just for the video games and are not interested in anything else, who knows when the next time I'll stream will be. Probably when Deltarune Chapter 5 comes out. Someone else liked. Oh, cool. Thanks for letting me know, Kinda Casual. Yeah. And then if I do stream before then, it'll probably be artsy stuff. I'm more interested in reading aloud things. Sure didn't speak things. You know, I want to do something before I end the stream, because I might, because I'm sort of talking in circles right now. Before I end the stream, I want to demonstrate what I mean when I say I choose a thing and read it on a stream. I think one of the reasons I'd be streaming this instead of just, like, recording myself and doing it later is because even though recording myself and posting it later edited would probably make a better product, like, I could put in some background music and I could, you know, do multiple takes and choose the best one. I think the streaming would just be a little easier, and there's something about a live reading, I think. Kinda Casual. All right, I'll remind myself to watch. I hope you have a wonderful life, man. Okay, well, before I end this, I want to demonstrate sort of what I mean when I say a potential plan I might have for streaming if/when I get free time to myself again and a space to stream. One of my favorite poems is Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven. So I think to end this goodbye, I'm going to read aloud The Raven and let that artsy piece be sort of my farewell for now, and sort of give you an idea of my interests and what future streams might sound like outside of games. So this is... Does anyone know Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven? It's a very nice poem. It actually has like a Simpsons animated version of it in the second season, Treehouse of Horror #1. So, The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. Only this, and nothing more. Ah, distinctly I remember, it was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I had sought to borrow from my books surcease of sorrow, sorrow for the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore, nameless here, forevermore. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before, so that now, to still the beating of my heart, I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door, some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door, this it is, and nothing more." Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. "Sir," said I, or "Madam, truly your forgiveness I implore, but the fact is I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you." Here I opened wide the door. Darkness there, and nothing more. Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there, wondering, fearing. doubting, dreaming dreams no mortals ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the stillness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was the whispered word, Lenore? This I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word, Lenore. Merely this, and nothing more. Back into the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning, soon again I heard a tapping, somewhat louder than before. Surely, said I, surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see then what thereat is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind, and nothing more. Open here I flung the shutter, when, with many a flirt and flutter, in there stepped a stately raven of the saintly days of yore. Not the least obeisance made he, not a minute stopped or stayed he, but with mien of lord or lady, perched above my chamber door, perched upon a bust of Pallas just above my chamber door, perched and sat, and nothing more. Then this ebony bird beguiling my said fancy into smiling, by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance it wore. Though thy crest be short and shaven, thou, I said, art sure no craven, ghastly grim and ancient raven, wandering from the nightly shore? Tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's Plutonian shore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Much I marveled this ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little relevancy bore. For we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door, bird or beast upon the sculptured bust above his chamber door, with such name as nevermore. But the raven, sitting lonely on the placid bust, spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word he did outpour. Nothing farther than he uttered, not a feather that he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, other friends have flown before, on the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before. Then the bird said, nevermore. Startled at the stillness broken by reply so aptly spoken, doubtless, said I, what it utters is its only stock in store, caught from some unhappy master whom unmerciful disaster followed fast and followed faster, till his songs one burden bore, till the dirges of his hope that melancholy burden bore of never, nevermore. But the raven still beguiling all my fancy into smiling, straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of bird and bust and door. Then upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself to linking fancy unto fancy, thinking what this ominous bird of yore, what this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, and ominous bird of yore meant in croaking nevermore. This I sat engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing, to the fowl whose fiery eyes now burned into my bosom's core. This and more I sat divining, with my head at ease reclining, on the cushion's velvet lining that the lamplight gloated o'er, but whose velvet violet lining with the lamplight gloating o'er she shall press. Ah, nevermore. Then methought the air grew denser, perfumed from an unseen censer, swung by seraphim whose footfalls tinkled on the tufted floor. Wretch, I cried, thy God hath lent thee, by these angels he hath sent thee, respite, respite, and nepenthe from thy memories of Lenore. Quaff, oh quaff this kind nepenthe, and forget this lost Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, whether tempter sent, or whether tempest tossed thee here ashore, desolate yet all undaunted, on this desert land enchanted, on this home by horror haunted, tell me truly, I implore, is there balm in Gilead? Tell me, I implore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, by that heaven that bends above us, by that God we both adore, tell this soul with sorrow laden, if, within the distant Aidenn, it shall clasp a sainted maiden whom the angels name Lenore, clasp a rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Be that word our sign of parting, bird or fiend, I shrieked upstarting. Get thee back into the tempest and the night's Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume Leave no black plume as a token of that lie thy soul hath spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken. Quit the bust above my door. Take thy beak from out my heart, and take thy form from off my door. Quoth the raven, nevermore. And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting on the pallid bust of Pallas just above my chamber door. And his eyes have all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming, and the lamplight o'er him streaming throws his shadow on the floor, and my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore. Every time I read that poem, I forget how long it is. And it's odd to say, but The Simpsons, the way The Simpsons did it all the way back in season 2 for that first Treehouse of Horror episode, they really condense it down perfectly. Like, they managed to make the poem so much shorter. They cut out a lot of verses, but they really do just keep the essentials. So your homework for today is finding that episode of The Simpsons and watching that version of The Raven. Now I shall actually look at the chat again. Kind of casual. I don't really read poems. That's fair. I actually don't read too many poems myself either. I need to read more. Kind of casual says beautiful. Oh, thank you. So yeah, that's Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven. It's just the rhyming scheme is so wonderful, and the imagery it evokes, like the raven, the dread, the grief. Kind of casual. This might sound stupid, but what's the meaning of it? I'm not very smart. No, I don't say you're not very smart. One of the best things about poetry is you can have the space to yourself to reread it and figure it out. Like, no one knows everything about a work on first reading or hearing. I mean, as ironic as it is, I don't take things in too much through audible stuff alone. I have to read it with my eyes. So it could also help if you read it yourself. But in short, The Raven is a poem about a guy who's in his study, and he's grieving Lenore, who is a lover of his. You know, he's talking about Lenore, the lost Lenore. And as he's in his study, he hears the tapping at his door. He opens the door, and a raven flies in, and the raven says the word nevermore over and over. And at first he's a little amused, like, oh, this is Bird, and he can say nevermore. I wonder why. But then he mentions Lenore, and the bird keeps saying nevermore. Like, his only answer is that. So it's like the bird is taunting him, essentially. Like, the guy remembers Lenore. As he's sitting in front of the bird, he remembers Lenore, this person he misses, this person who's apparently gone, died, most likely. And that line, I feel the air grew denser as if of a censer. I botched that line remembering it, but he feels the air grow denser like with perfumed church air and the presence of seraphim, of angels. And he's wondering about Lenore. Here, I'm going to bring up that poem again just to actually say the words as I'm recounting this. Right, the air grew denser, perfumed from an unseen censer, swung by seraphim whose footfalls tinkled on the floor. And then he says, thy God hath lent thee, by these angels he hath sent thee, respite, and nepenthe from thy memories of Lenore. So he's saying, maybe God is telling me I should forget Lenore. And then the raven says, nevermore. And this makes him angry. Like, you can never forget Lenore. You'll never be free from these feelings you're feeling. And so the narrator is yelling at him, and then he asks about heaven. Yeah, is there balm in Gilead? And tell the soul if it shall clasp a sainted maiden whom the angels named Lenore. Like, yeah, is Lenore in heaven, and will I rejoin Lenore in heaven? And the bird says nevermore. Like, no, you're not. And it never moves. It never leaves him. So it's this poem about the narrator having this weird sign that he'll never forget Lenore, he will never meet up with her in heaven, and these feelings will never leave him, and that bird still is sitting there. Very meaningful. Never thought this is what it meant. Yeah, I think that's why I like the poem so much. Like, even if you don't know a lot about what it's saying. Because like I said, my first exposure to this was The Simpsons animating it. So I was a young kid. And I watched that poem, and it is actually kind of easier to understand watching that because Homer is like the narrator isn't Homer speaking. Like it's actually this cool voice narrating the poem, but Homer is sort of illustrating the point of view of the person, the guy in the study. And the Lost Lenore, you see these paintings of Marge, and you see him miss her. So even if you don't understand all the vocabulary, like I didn't when I was young, it's a little clearer when it's visualized, and it's like, oh, he misses this person, and a bird is taunting him, and he gets angry at the bird. And then you grow up a little bit, and you learn more vocabulary, and you're like, oh, okay, and you kind of delve into it. This actually is sort of inspiring. Like, if I were to stream again and it wasn't video games, maybe something I would move to is reading public domain poetry, old stories, stuff that people either visit in school, like in high school or middle school, and sort of read it aloud and then go over it and sort of say, this is, I'm not going to tell you all the answers necessarily, but this is sort of the stuff you should focus on, what's cool about it, almost like an educational aid, because there's a lot of good things in old literature. But yeah, so that was my poem. I'm surprised to see that no one left. Like the number of people watching is the same. So thank you for listening to me reading aloud The Raven. That makes me happy. But yeah, I think that's the end of this goodbye stream. So thank you so much for following me on this journey over the past month. Kind of casual like you, if you came in late, feel free to watch my previous streams and see my journey after the fact. And I don't know if I'll make things in the future, and I don't know if when I make those things you'll notice, because you'll have your own life. But thank you for being here nonetheless. You really brightened up these past few streams. It really made me happy to have an audience. So, yeah, kind of casual smiley face. So, thank you so much, and have a good night. And hopefully I'll see you in the future.